One of the biggest lies we have been taught is that confidence comes first. That confidence is something that we have to have now before we can do something. That one day you will finally say, I feel ready, I feel good enough, I feel certain that everything is going to work out perfectly. I believe, and that you will simply just believe in yourself enough or more than you do now. And that then that's when you will take action. But honestly, I don't think confidence is what changes people's lives. Proof, evidence does. Trust, because your brain trusts evidence more than it does positive thinking, more than it does wishing for it, more than it does simply thinking that it will happen at some point, waiting for it, but never taking action for it. And I have been thinking about this a lot lately. How many times do you delay things because you say, I'm not confident enough yet. I am not ready enough. I am not prepared yet. I need to research or plan or study more before I can start. What if I fail? What if things don't work out? What if people see me failing? Or what if I'm simply not ready? What if I need to wait longer? What if I need to wait for when things are perfect? What if I need to prepare more before I should do it, before I can do it? And I tell you this because for me, this has been a lot of times in my life. I am a recovering overthinker. I used to always have an excuse why I should not do something yet. I will always debate between one option and another. After all, I am a Libra, so that means I'm indecisive. I struggle a lot making one decision, taking one path and committing to it and forgetting about all the other. Underneath all of those things, underneath all those excuses, all those things that we say to ourselves why we should not start, why we are not ready, is usually a deeper fear. What if I cannot trust myself to follow through? What if I cannot trust myself to keep my word, to keep going long term, to be consistent, to keep consistent? And even if it succeeds, how do I know I will be able to hold it? How do I know? And sometimes even the thought of something succeeding and knowing that everything will change can keep us stuck, because it's like, do you believe that you are able to hold that level of success, that level of capacity that you will have to have in that new version of you, in that new version of your life? That's the real thing that most people are struggling with. Not confidence, but trusting in your capacity, trusting in your ability, trusting that you have the capacity to hold that dream, to hold that goal, to hold that new version of yourself. Because confidence is not built before action, it's built after it, through evidence, through repetition, through consistency, through keeping your word over and over, even when it feels boring or like nothing's happening. Through showing yourself that yes, I can do hard things. Yes, I can survive discomfort. Yes, I can follow through. I am the kind of person who keeps their word to themselves. Because here is something I want you to take from this video, this episode. Your brain trusts proof more than it does promises. You can say affirmations all day long, but if your actions keep telling your brain, I quit, I disappear, I avoid things, I don't follow through with the things that I say I will do, I always stall and start with something else, and I'm not consistent long term, that becomes your identity. That becomes the person that you believe you are. And that becomes what you do. And this is where your self-talk becomes so important, because the words that you repeat to yourself daily, over and over, become the instructions for your mind. If your inner dialogue sounds like, I am behind, I always mess things up, I am not disciplined, I am not consistent, I cannot accomplish my goals, I am probably not capable of that, I don't think I can do that. Who are you to do those kind of things? Your brain is listening to it. Your nervous system is listening to it. And so your body, the actions that you take, responds to those words like they are facts. The way that you speak to yourself either expands your capacity or shrinks it, because your self-talk determines how safe taking action feels, how possible growth feels, and how much discomfort you are willing to tolerate. Your brain is constantly collecting evidence, not just from your actions, but also from your language, from the words that you repeat to yourself over and over. So if every time you try something new, your self-talk immediately becomes something like judgment, criticism, shame, embarrassment, pressure, of course, your nervous system is going to resist that because any type of growth starts feeling emotionally unstable, emotionally unsafe. You cannot build self belief in yourself while speaking to yourself at the same time like someone you don't trust, like someone you don't believe, like someone you are not cheering for and supporting. I have noticed this in myself too. There have been a lot of moments in my life where I wanted to show up bigger, create more, be more consistent with the habits and the structures that I wanted to create in my life, put myself out there more confidently, more boldly. But as soon as I started thinking about doing it, or as soon as I started taking a small action, my self talk sounded something like, who do you think you are to do that? You are not ready yet. What if people don't care at all and you just make a fool of yourself? What if you can keep this up? What if you start and then you have to stop and everyone will notice that you stop and you start then stop and you are not consistent or disciplined? What is interesting is that when you really notice it, all those thoughts may taking action feel a lot heavier than it needed to feel. It made it harder, more emotionally draining, and like I was always behind, like I was not good enough for it yet. Like I was not at that level. But the moment I started changing the conversation I had with myself, everything started shifting. No overnight confidence, not feeling perfectly prepared from one day to another. Just small moments of follow through, self-respect, evidence that I could do the things I say I was going to do, and compassion for myself, compassion for my own journey, compassion for my pace, to not compare myself to how everyone else was doing everything, but also to notice that I have my own way of doing things, that I have my own timing, that I have my own process, that I have my own things to work on. And it will never be completely equal, completely the same as someone else. And those tiny actions created the proof that I needed to start trusting myself more and more. So when I started talking to myself like someone I respected, like someone I believe was capable of doing more, someone I was cheering for and supporting, when I was giving myself grace without using that grace as an excuse, but like just from a place of compassion and grace and accountability. From a place of compassion and grace and accountability. I know you can do more. You are capable of this. I know you can follow through. I know you can do all those things. You start building that identity that you truly trust and you truly believe that you can do all those things. Because as Jane Clear says, every action that you take today is a vote for your future identity. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, every time you take a scary step, every time you take a risk or a bold action, every time you show up when you say you will, every time you did the thing, even when you didn't feel like it, or when it was uncomfortable, or when you were not feeling motivated to do it, but you still did it. You still went and showed up for the things that you say you will do, for the things that you say that you wanted to have in your life. You collect the evidence that you have the capacity to hold it, that you have the capacity to really build it and create it in your life. And that evidence, that proof that you are creating, that you are building with each action, which is each small step that you take, that becomes your self-belief. That becomes your self-respect, that you are indeed the person that you say that you are. This is also why overthinking keeps so many people stuck. Because overthinking, when you are planning something, when you are researching something, when you are studying something, thinking about it over and over and refining all the details, can feel productive in the moment when you are doing it. But it doesn't create any proof. It doesn't create any evidence of your identity, of who you are. Action, taking action, no matter how big or how small it might be at that moment, those create the proof, those create the evidence. Every tiny action does, especially tiny, scary things that we are avoiding. Because here's the thing, you don't need to overhaul your whole life to change your identity. What you need is repetition, evidence, and a healthy relationship with yourself, with how you speak to yourself, with how you support yourself, with the words that you are constantly repeating to yourself over and over. So instead of saying things like, you could never do this, you are not capable, you are behind, you never do anything right, who do you think you are to do all these things? Why not saying, you are capable of this? You have the ability, you can learn, you can grow into this. You are starting, you're a beginner still, but you're learning, you're improving. You can improve, you can do it. I'm here with you all along the way. Talk to yourself like you are a friend and support yourself in the journey, in the process. And tell yourself you can do it. You're just at the beginning, you're just learning, you're just growing. So it might feel like you are not there yet, but you are in the process. Learn it, enjoy it, embrace it. And I'm here with you. We are doing this together. That's really what changes how you change your identity, how you change how you see yourself every day with the little things that you do, with the little evidence that you build, with the little words, the little encouragement that you give yourself. So let me ask you something. What will change in your life if you started speaking to yourself like someone you actually believe in, like you were actually someone you were cheering for, supporting, someone you actually believe could create a life that they love, create all the things that they want in their life? And what tiny action can you start taking today, this week, that will create the proof that that version of you exists? I just want you to leave this episode with this. Confidence is overrated. Because here's the thing, confidence comes and confidence goes. When we are very competent in something, when we have done something a lot of times, we feel confident on it because we are good at it or we have been doing it for a long time. But when we are thinking of doing something new, when we are starting a new path, when we are thinking of making a change in our life, in our careers, in our relationships, in our health, in our habits and routines, confidence is small because we are trying new things. We are doing things that we have never done before. We are creating a change in our life. And that feels uncomfortable. That feels uncertain. That feels like we are not there yet. So confidence is small at that moment. We are not yet confident of something we have never done before. But your self-belief, believing that you are capable of anything that you put your mind and your energy and you focus to, that's something that you can build every day, with little steps, with little actions, with the words and the language that you use with yourself. That self-belief is built through action, through the tiny actions that you take daily consistently, through the evidence that you build, trusting yourself and talking to yourself like someone you are cheering and supporting and rooting for, and the way that you speak to yourself, the words that you use along the way when you are in the process, when you are still in that uncertainty and discomfort, uncomfortable stage. You do not need more confidence. You need more proof that you can trust yourself, that you respect yourself, that you believe in yourself. And that proof start with taking one small step today and every day. It starts with taking that small steps and talking to yourself like someone you support along the way. If this resonated with you, I highly recommend downloading my free guide and free video training, the 5-day Overthinking Reset. It's designed to help you start spiraling in your own head, in your thoughts, and start building momentum through a small intentional actions. You can find the link in the description of this episode. And if this episode resonated with you, send it to someone who needs the reminder that they do not need to feel confident before they begin. Thank you for listening or watching to something I know have the power to change your life. If you're watching YouTube, please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the coming episodes. And if you're listening in any of the podcast platforms, follow the show so you get all the updates. I'm honored to have you here. I am rooting for you. And I will see you next week in the next episode. Bye bye.